So this is just a short video to explain how to use the carbon button welding macro. This macro can be used to weld any number of meshes to a single cloth, and it also turns the meshes into rigid bodies. So here we have 3 buttons, and we are going to weld them to the cloth behind. First thing to do is to make sure we have the buttons where we want them and that they are not interpenetrating with the cloth. So assuming we have the cloth thickness set the same as the render panels, we can just work off the carbon cloth physics draw. So let's unhide the cloths. As you can see here, this button is interpenetrating. Okay, there we go, fixed. Now we need to make sure the buttons have their pivot centered and baked, or the macro won't work as expected. And finally, we need to know which cloth that waste panel is, and the easiest way to do that is to unhide the simulation geometry and click on it. So it's cloth number 5. Let's hide the sim geometry and unhide the cloth. Now select cloth 5, hold shift, select the buttons, and right click on the carbon button macro on the carbon shelf. I want 8 welds per button. Okay, all done. It's as simple as that. Now here we can see the weldings to the cloth, and we can control how tight or loose the welding is with the welding parameters. And double clicking the welding icon on the shelf brings up the settings information. Also, the buttons are rigid bodies, and so they have mass. The default mass is 0.001 kilograms, i.e. 1 gram. And we can change their mass as required in the rigid settings for each button. Again, to find more information out about the rigid settings, just double click the rigid icon on the carbon shelf. So in order to put some materials on these buttons, we need to create an output mesh. So all we do is select the body shape for each button, and then on the shelf create output mesh copies. Hide the buttons. Now, that's not a bad colour, but if we want to put a different material on, we can do the usual material. Now all that's left to do is to just look at that with the actual render meshes. So unhide the deformer geometry, unhide the cloths. There we go. No apologies for the cut of this garment. We deliberately take off-the-shelf garments that are not optimized for use with carbon, so we can better understand the challenges our customers face. These pocket openings are clearly a little bit too wide. Okay, I hope that was helpful, and thank you for watching.